The female boss got drunk due to heartbreak. Late at night in a daze. I gloatingly took a screenshot and sent it to my best friend for appreciation. As a result, my hand trembled, and I accidentally sent it to the boss herself. A question mark from the opposite side slowly arrived. Are you laughing at me, too? To keep my job, I forced myself to say, no, I'm afraid you're sad. Seeing you like this, I feel heartbroken. The boss replied, sorry, I don't get involved with married people. Give up on me. 10 minutes later. Come to think of it, boss, do you want to see my abs? Just finished working out. That day was Valentine's Day. I deliberately posted a photo of myself with my goddess, arms around each other. This was our 3rd year together. Less than half an hour later, everyone in the company's main group chat suddenly went ballistic, not knowing what had happened. It turned out a new rule had been announced. No one is allowed to take leave on Valentine's Day. Everyone complained about the unfairness, then shifted to private small group chats. According to Secretary Curie, this was a temporary rule set by the boss. The office rumor: the boss just went through a breakup. Even someone like CEO Curie got dumped? Thinking that even CEO Curie, with such a beautiful face, was troubled by love, I felt like my own obsession was somewhat lessened. Everyone lost the concentration to work, insisting on asking who the man was who dared to betray the ice flower, Marie Curie. Someone mentioned me. Doesn't Merton have the boss's Facebook? Check what she posted on her moments. Vague, nothing visible, she probably blocked me. Actually, I quickly clicked on Marie Curie's moments. She only posted one sentence: why does he still love that woman? Sure enough, I have no appeal to her. The location was a bar. She was indeed heartbroken. I originally intended to share this gossip, so I took a screenshot and sent it to my friend. Right after I sent it, the manager came over with a stack of documents and told me to deal with them. I immediately pretended that nothing was wrong, focusing on work. After he left, my phone vibrated. The next second, I couldn't laugh anymore, because I had accidentally sent the screenshot to the owner herself, Marie Curie. They are all laughing at me. Are you laughing at me, too? The tone carried evident distress. I panicked. Marie Curie continued to send messages. Merton, what exactly do you mean? It's over, the boss is angry. To keep my job, I forced myself to say, no, alcohol harms your health. Seeing you like this, I feel heartbroken. Boss, you must take good care of yourself. Without you, who else would give me a job like this? Working from 10 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon. Overtime paid triple, with unlimited weekend breaks, and a salary of $50,000 a year? The opposite side displayed, typing. I worried restlessly. Marie Curie. Sorry, I don't get involved with married people. Give up on me. I was bewildered. Did heartbreak damage her brain? Or did she send it to the wrong person? Did she mistake me for her boyfriend? 10 minutes later. Boss. Come to think of it, do you want to see my abs? Just finished working out. When I received this message, I felt the entire phone get hot. A colleague walked by, and I quickly stuffed the phone into my pocket. When I got home, I realized the phone wasn't locked. I had accidentally pressed send, sending Marie Curie 800, I want to court you, emojis. The woman's initial attitude was rejection. Merton, I am your boss, please respect me. I hope our relationship remains purely professional. After enduring the storm of my emojis, she helplessly compromised. Fine, whatever makes you happy. But I don't want any third party to know about this relationship of ours. It concerns my reputation. After all, half an hour had passed since that message, and the boss was waiting for my reply. I squatted by the elevator door. Deep in thought, I ran into a neighbor walking his dog home. Little Merton, just finished work? I sadly nodded. Overtime again today. Overtime comes with compensation, but that doesn't stop me from hating it. The neighbor chuckled. Seeing you work so hard every day, and with a decent salary, you must have saved up quite a bit, right? The golden retriever at his feet was still in an excited state. Bumping into anyone it saw. I was the unlucky person it bumped into. The dog grabbed the phone I just dropped. And thus began the race of 2 people and 1 dog. An hour later, I finally retrieved the chewed-up phone from the dog's mouth. The neighbor felt extremely apologetic and immediately transferred money. My naughty kid caused you trouble. I'll compensate you double. It's alright, I accepted the money with tears in my eyes. The good news is the phone still works. The bad news is it's intermittent. For example, if I tell it to go left, it insists on going right. Marie Curie had been waiting for a long time and couldn't help but prod me. Merton, do you agree or not? I thought about it carefully. This whole thing is too preposterous. If my identity were known by others, how would they see me? What did you say? This is my first time. If you don't agree, say so early. Actually, I don't really want to either. After all, I'm not that kind of person. If you don't agree, then so be it. Why aren't you replying? I keep seeing, typing, appearing. If you don't agree, then so be it, but don't tell anyone, I beg you. I intended to type, I don't agree. But this cursed phone went out of my control. Automatically typed a string of characters on the keyboard, and pressed send. I frantically hit the revoke button. The cursed phone started convulsing again, sending several kiss emojis continuously. A minute later, Marie Curie coolly sent one word, okay. My phone continued its mischief. Marie Curie. It's the first day, and it's already like this? I'm very traditional. I don't want to progress this fast. I've never been in a relationship. What should be the first step? Then, in despair, I watched the phone automatically send the other party in, I want to sleep with you, emoji. Marie Curie seemed shocked, barely managing to send a sentence through the silence. You're too lustful. Merton. Furious, I directly threw the phone into the sink full of water. Since I'm dead, you won't survive alone either. The next day, I stealthily arrived at the company, pretending to casually ask a colleague, I heard the morning meeting was cancelled? Colleague. That's right, the boss took the day off. My face clearly showed relief. Great. I can still pretend to be innocent today. The phone was sent for repair. Since the technician said it would be finished tonight, I didn't plan to buy a new one. I also don't know what Marie Curie finally replied. The manager walked over. Merton, make a trip to the hospital and find CEO Curie to sign this urgent document. I immediately became restless. I reached the door of the hospital room but still didn't dare to enter. Merton? It was Secretary Chu, holding a bowl of kanji in his hand. My expression was somewhat unnatural. I suddenly thought of something. Secretary Chu, I'm here to deliver a document for the boss to sign. Perfect timing. I'm a bit busy. You help me look after the boss this week. Okay? Secretary Chu came in a hurry and left in a hurry. He kindly knocked on the door on the way out. CEO Curie, Merton is here. A voice, neither warm nor cold, came from inside. Oh. I encouraged myself. Every step I took was tentative. The woman on the hospital bed glanced over, her eyes cold. I awkwardly greeted her. CEO Curie, good morning. Marie Curie looked full of reproach, remaining silent for a long time. The woman sluggishly said, Are you planning to starve me to death, boyfriend? My hand trembled as I presented the document. CEO Curie, about last night, I need 10 minutes for an explanation. Marie Curie was truly hungry, focusing on eating without looking up. I'm listening to your fabricated excuse. 10 minutes later. That's how it is, boss. All those messages were not sent by me. I sat up straight, carefully glancing at the woman. A hint of a complicated smile flashed in the woman's eyes. You don't have a girlfriend? I nodded repeatedly. That's a minor singer I've been following for many years. Since she's not very famous, you're not the only one who misunderstood. After speaking, I felt her focus was misplaced, so I reminded her. Boss, please, for goodness sake, don't think I took the screenshot to mock you. Heaven knows, I am absolutely loyal to you. Marie Curie slowly wiped her hands. Your point is, you just happened to take a screenshot and accidentally sent it to me. Then you were forced to say those things. Then coincidentally a dog snatched your phone. Then your phone broke like that. And then coincidentally your phone automatically sent those confessions to me? I nodded firmly. CEO Curie, the misunderstanding has been resolved. Just as I was about to breathe a sigh of relief, the woman gave a cold laugh. Merton, do I look that easy to deceive? I just wanted to cry. Shaking my head, she began to list my crimes alone. Do you know how long I waited downstairs at your apartment in Philadelphia last night? I whispered. Then why didn't you come up to find me? She glared at me. Does this status of mine seem glorious? It truly is vague. Do you know how cold it got last night? Cold tears streamed down. Marie Curie was clearly seriously angry. Do you even have a heart? I secretly glanced at her and suddenly said, the internet joke, then I get the most valuable player. I was chased out by Marie Curie. She said she needed peace and told me to go elsewhere. In the evening, I received a phone call, and I nervously opened Facebook. Initially, Marie Curie had flat out rejected my attempt to sleep with her. Merton, I hope you respect yourself. I am not that kind of casual person. These are indeed the words she would say. When Marie Curie first arrived and hadn't found a secretary yet, I filled in for a while. When I handed her a cup of coffee, the woman would blush and apologize even if she accidentally touched my hand. Occupational habit. Seeing that her cufflink wasn't neatly adjusted, I reflexively reached out. The woman quickly pulled her hand back, not looking up. I can do it myself. There was even one time when Marie Curie was socializing late at night. The driver had an unexpected issue, and I went to pick her up in Las Vegas. She sat by the roadside, staring blankly at me for a long time. The next day, she informed me, don't go on such errands next time, it's not safe. Marie Curie is very kind, with a personality that can't be faulted. But that doesn't stop her from being demanding at work. Because of this, quite a few people were conquered by her appearance. I was no exception. The last time the company had a team building event, everyone thought the boss wasn't present, so they let loose. All the questions revolved around her. They asked me, Merton, if one day you went on a blind date and the person was the boss, what would you think? I blurted out. I'd run to the date. No matter how good she is, she's still my boss. Who would ever harbor thoughts about their boss? I absolutely have no interest in the boss, even if she were a fairy. At that moment, I spoke with increasing fervor, completely unaware that the subject herself was standing behind me, listening to the entire conversation. Before leaving, she reluctantly asked, am I that hateful? I patted my face, no longer thinking about the embarrassing matter from before, and continued scrolling through the chat interface. The more I looked, the stiffer my mouth became. Marie Curie's message stopped at 1 a.m. She had sent. Come downstairs, and I'll let you have one kiss. Sleeping over is absolutely out of the question. Then I slept like a log, leaving her out all night. I deliberated back and forth in the chat box, finally sending this message. Boss, rest assured, our situation will absolutely not be discovered by others. So, can you also pretend that nothing happened? The boss did not reply. She only posted a photo on her moments. In the photo was her arm with an IV drip. The caption read, finally bearing it all alone. I felt guilty and couldn't bear it, so I added another sentence. Take care of your health. I'll visit you next time. The woman replied immediately. When is next time? You know, I'm very busy. Oh well, I happen to have a business matter to discuss near your place in Washington, D.C. I'll reluctantly wait for you downstairs for a bit. So, wearing my thick, padded pajamas, bought for $50, I secretly slipped into a luxury version of the Rolls-Royce on the roadside downstairs. As soon as I got in the car, I was stunned by Marie Curie's appearance. A high-end suit, red-soled high heels, from head to toe, she exuded sophistication. No wonder the male leads in novels often say, you're not even as good as a single strand of her hair. I felt inferior. Why are you staring at me like that? Marie Curie was probably still catching a cold, looking down and coughing a few times. The moment wasn't important, her face was red, and her ears were red, too. I felt a little embarrassed, honestly, but with slight exaggeration. Boss, even when you're sick, you look incredibly beautiful. I almost thought you stepped out of a novel as the female lead. The woman's eyes flickered slightly, and she shyly asked, really? What kind of novel are you reading? My mind was faster than my mouth. Yuri. The next day at work, Secretary Lionel called in sick. The boss needed a temporary replacement next to her. Colleagues nearby all raised their hands. I pretended to be innocent. Just as I reached out to swat a mosquito, the manager saw it. Merton, seeing your enthusiastic volunteering, you go. Afterward, The manager also explained. You've worked next to CEO Curie before. And you're more familiar with her, so choosing you is the most suitable. Mainly, I had just caused a major misunderstanding in front of Marie Curie. So I felt a bit awkward. The manager said directly. I heard the salary will be increased by $5. I held his hand. Then you truly chose the right person. In the afternoon, I moved my belongings to the other office. It felt a bit great to have the boss as my direct superior. While she was absent, I started being lazy again. I saw Secretary Lionel update his moments with 9 photos of the sea. It feels wonderful to have triple paid sick leave. I will still support CEO Curie as the chairman of the board for the next term. I commented with suspicion. Secretary Lionel, are you recovered from your illness? It seemed quite serious, otherwise, you wouldn't have me fill in for a month. The next second, the Moments post disappeared. Secretary Lionel messaged me privately. You saw wrong. These are photos I took in the hospital. I was amusing myself with abstract art. I couldn't question it further, only able to comfort him. Take care of your health, Secretary Lionel. Merton, you must treat the boss well, she's really going through a lot. Marie Curie was hospitalized due to a severe cold. She only stayed for 1 day before returning to work while still ill. The important woman wore a coat and stood in a drafty spot, occasionally clasping her hand over her mouth to cough. There were still bruises on the back of her hand from the IV drip. She exuded an air of fragility and pitifulness, especially when I glanced at the small group chat where colleagues were saying, I heard the boss got sick because she stood downstairs all night wanting to reconcile with her boyfriend. I heard the boss grew up in a medicinal bath and has poor health. A mild cold could shorten her lifespan by 3 years. I heard the boss's family once calculated that she wouldn't live past 25. It turns out the difficulty Secretary Lionel mentioned about Marie Curie was for this reason. This made me feel both guilty and sympathetic. My attitude became extremely attentive. After parking the car, I took out the newly bought scarf, opened the umbrella, and quickly ran over. Marie Curie was slightly surprised, the corners of her mouth curving slightly. Why did you come? I was afraid she would catch a cold, so I told her to lower her head. The woman was very obedient. She carried a faint smell of disinfectant water on her body. Secretary Lionel is ill, so I was temporarily arranged to take his place. Oh, CEO Curie, what is Secretary Lionel suffering from? It felt quite serious, otherwise, he wouldn't have me fill in for a month right away. Marie Curie opened her eyes and stammered. I don't know, maybe a broken bone somewhere. I didn't think much of it. Marie Curie's house in Beverly Hills was not far. For half an hour on the road, I tried to find topics to talk about, but skillfully steered clear of her romantic life. CEO Curie, why did you decide to come to this company? It's just one of Lou Group's subsidiaries. When people first heard that the eldest miss was coming to manage, many were shocked. What surprised me was another reason. Marie Curie's name was exactly the same as that person's name. The woman was looking at documents. Hearing this, she looked up. Fate, perhaps? Maybe. I smiled brightly. This fate is too good. I like this fate. If Marie Curie hadn't arrived and increased the company's benefits several times over, I would have long since scorned and quit the job. It was a coincidence that on the day she arrived, I happened to be listening to 2 female colleagues complain in the elevator. I can't stand this dilapidated company for another second. That manager keeps offering flowers one moment, then asking me out to dinner the next. He even called me into the office in front of colleagues, saying he wanted to pursue me. Sorry, if it's workplace harassment, it's harassment, don't frame it as pursuing me. I quit my previous company also because the leader suddenly decided to confess to me. Now I've come here and encountered this annoying thing again. It's just unbelievable. I narrated with great enthusiasm. Midway through, I realized there was another person in the elevator. Staring was impolite, so I tried to clearly observe her appearance through the reflection on the elevator wall. She was more distinguished than my fate would allow. Fair skin. Just these 3 points were enough to know she was a beauty. She tilted her head, I couldn't clearly see her face. My friend on the phone was still eagerly asking about the next development. My attention was pulled back. And I continued. People on the internet always say things like, while studying, you like the teacher; during military training, you like the coach; when working, you like the boss. Can't I find someone else to like? In short, I can't possibly like a colleague in the company for my entire life. Saying this, the woman in my line of sight seemed to stiffen for a moment, standing a little straighter. I didn't notice, becoming angrier as I spoke. At worst, I'll quit. Anyway, this dilapidated company doesn't even have a beauty, and the salary is mediocre. Can't I, the great man, find a better place? Then, the next day, an invincible beauty arrived. On the third day, I got a raise. On the fourth day, the manager who harassed female colleagues was fired. Before leaving, he even sincerely bowed and apologized to them. I was incredibly pleased. It seemed as if I had hit a nerve with Marie Curie. She also lowered her head and smiled faintly. I also think this fate is good. I was mesmerized by her, my mind blank, and I blurted out. Oh, CEO Curie, does your previous offer to show me your abs still count? The last time she said it, I didn't reply to the message, and that was that. Too bad. The woman immediately withdrew her smile and turned her face away. The exposed ear was bright red, unlike anyone else's. Merton, concentrate on driving. I realized I seemed to have teased the boss. What great disrespect. I sat up straight and focused on driving. A hesitant voice came from the backseat. I'll show you later. Really? Of course, I couldn't bear it. You must put on decent clothes. Though, what if you catch another cold? After the woman got out of the car, I helped her wrap the scarf. CEO Curie, you must take good care of your health. Marie Curie hesitated repeatedly, finally unable to resist. Actually, I'm not as fragile as you think. I only caught a cold that day because I took a cold shower. I didn't dare to say. Serves you right for catching a cold, taking a cold shower in the middle of winter. Is this Merton? Suddenly, a woman appeared, startling me. Marie Curie pulled me aside, her attitude slightly surprised. Didn't Auntie go traveling? I slowly said in surprise. Auntie Radia Perlman. The woman happily responded. I immediately became shy. Auntie Radia Perlman was my elementary school homeroom teacher. Back then, I was mischievous. I brought a golden furred hamster to school to show off, and it was confiscated by Auntie Radia Perlman. I cried a lot, kneeling, lying down, rolling around and crying in the office. I cried until Auntie Radia Perlman had to compromise. If I passed the math exam at the end of the semester, she would return it to me. Afterward, I studied hard and barely passed. It's just that after a month, my golden-furred hamster had turned into a golden-furred bead. So fat its eyes were squinted, and it was slightly oily. I stubbornly refused to admit it was my old one. Auntie Radia Perlman scratched her head and explained. I'm sorry. My daughter was raising it, and I didn't expect it to turn out like this. Saying this, she pulled a little girl from behind her. Marie Curie quickly apologized to him. I looked up with a sense of grievance, captivated by the fair and beautiful little girl in front of me. The little girl was slightly shy. I rubbed her head. I accept your apology. You must help it lose weight properly. Don't be sad, big brother. I transformed into the demon, seeing the Tang monk in Journey to the West, shamelessly saying, hook your little finger with mine. If you don't succeed, you have to marry me. The little girl's eyes widened slightly, and then, nothing happened. Due to family reasons, I transferred schools. Auntie Radia Perlman resigned and took Marie Curie abroad. We lost contact. Initially, I just thought the two people had the same name. I never expected such a coincidence to truly meet. After Auntie Radia Perlman finished chatting with me, she glared at Marie Curie. Didn't I rush back to see my son-in-law because I saw your post on Moments? Marie Curie suddenly said sternly, Auntie, don't talk nonsense. Auntie Radia Perlman froze for a few seconds, then realized something, grabbing my hand. Merton, come visit me more often when you have free time, I get very bored. Marie Curie coldly and heartlessly pulled my hand out of hers. He's my secretary. The two women began a silent tug of war. Ada Lovelace pulled my hand again. What is yours? He's not your boyfriend. Why are you so defensive of me? I'm Alan Turing's teacher. I'm much more important than you. I listened, bewildered. Marie Curie's face started to turn red, and she gritted her teeth. Auntie, don't talk nonsense. We have nothing going on. It's just a purely professional boss-subordinate relationship. Ada Lovelace snorted. Well, Alan Turing might genuinely have nothing going on with you. But you, when I took you abroad that year, you cried desperately, demanding to return every year to find him. The woman pursed her lips, wanting to speak but holding back. Her face flushed as she told me to go home early. Then she lowered her head and silently walked into the house. Ada Lovelace didn't care, leaning toward me and saying, "This girl, when she couldn't find you back then, cried so hard she had to be hospitalized. Afterward, I had to shamelessly use my connections at the school to find out that she returned home every year, looking for you. But you know Marie Curie's inner turmoil. Right in the year you graduated high school, Marie Curie rarely made up her mind, bringing flowers to the school to look for you. She saw you walking hand in hand with a girl. Tears fell profusely. From then on, she never mentioned your name again. Oh, there was this too. No wonder I received New Year's greetings every New Year back then. At the time, I thought they were just friends from an older graduating class, so I didn't think much of it. After getting home, I teased her on Facebook. Boss, did you recognize me from the very beginning? Marie Curie. Then why didn't you say anything? Don't tell me that just like boys change after 18. Girls do too. I really didn't recognize you. Marie Curie said, I was afraid you wouldn't remember me, and I was afraid of putting pressure on you if I told you. The long silent high school class group chat suddenly announced a class reunion. Elon Musk deliberately called my name. Alan Turing, you didn't attend last year. Don't turn us down this time. I took a screenshot and sent it to my friend, Bill Gates, to complain. I must look carefully this time before sending. At most, they'll check if you've bought a car or a house. If you have, they'll start calculating. If you haven't, they'll start looking down on you. Why bother attending? Bill Gates chimed in. Especially that Elon Musk, she's the biggest tattletale. Back then, I grew my hair long to sleep in a little later, and she kept saying it wasn't student-like and that I was eccentric. I remember it clearly. Back then, the school was very strict about early romance, reporting it would get you a $100 reward. My friend and I were honorably mentioned on the bulletin board 5 times in 1 week. And half of that was because of Elon Musk. Right up until near quitting time, the class group was still chatting. The number of people mentioning me was increasing. I heard Alan Turing works at Radia Perlman Group. That's the best company around here. Successful in your career, don't forget your old classmates. Come on, Alan Turing and Elon Musk will be awkward around each other. So, Alan Turing refused to come last time because of this? That makes sense. Elon Musk spoke up, trying to appear generous. Alright, stop talking about Alan Turing's sad history. I forgot to mention, why did Elon Musk always deliberately target me back then? The reason was she thought I liked her, but by not confessing, I was playing hard to get. Oh my god, I explained countless times. The reason I often looked in her direction was because the blackboard was there. I'm nearsighted. Now, I heard that this self-centered girl was about to get married. And her husband was a rich second generation. No wonder she kept inviting me to the class reunion. Bill Gates tagged me in the group. Didn't you tell them? Everyone in the group immediately became curious. I cooperated. Mainly, I was afraid no one would believe me. It's just that 2 years ago I got lucky and won a few $1 million in the lottery. So I casually bought a few houses and opened a few companies. Things are going quite well. I just returned from a meeting abroad recently. When people have money, they start focusing on health, what's important and what's not. As for this class reunion, the implication was, you are not worthy. Elon Musk burst out laughing. What a brag. You have money? I sent a helpless emoji. See, I told you you wouldn't believe me. Then Alan Turing and Bill Gates each sent a sarcastic emoji and left the group together. I didn't expect them to believe it. The main point was for them to feel that a small part was believable. But 9 parts were unbelievable. Yet they couldn't find anyone to confront. It was a Saturday, and I had to work overtime. I was driving Marie Curie for a business engagement. On the way, the woman was still coughing. I discreetly showed concern. CEO Curie, you should drink less alcohol, it's not good for your health. I was genuinely afraid she would walk in vertical and come out horizontal. How would I explain that to the Radia Perlman family? The woman curled her lip. Are you trying to manage me? She was likely reminding me that I had overstepped my boundaries. I immediately shook my head. No, I didn't say anything. Marie Curie wouldn't let it go. Repeat what you just said. I didn't dare. I was wrong. Boss. She was being stubborn. I didn't say anything just now. Marie Curie's voice started to sound shaky. You did. You clearly just said something. I changed the subject. Boss. You should hurry up and go in. The woman slammed the car door shut. She walked around to the front of my driver's seat and tapped on the window. Nervously and timidly, I lowered the window slightly. She spoke with an annoyed expression. I have to drink until I die. Then I'll stop. With that, she turned around arrogantly. What could I say? Praise her for being so capable? A server stood by the door, guiding the way. Marie Curie entered the private room. Everyone inside stood up. CEO Curie, please, everyone sit down. She chose a spot leaning against the window. From here, she could look down and see her car, where the man in the driver's seat was gently resting his head on the steering wheel, muttering something. Marie Curie's eyes curved slightly, and she withdrew her gaze. Let's begin. This banquet was hosted by the other party, and the chosen venue was quite formal in Manhattan. Marie Curie raised her hand to decline the glass of wine offered to her. Excuse me, I don't drink alcohol. The opposite party was slightly stunned. Is CEO Curie dissatisfied? She smiled softly. No, I've already quit drinking. No one offered her any more. The process proceeded faster than usual. Mainly, the person sitting in the main seat was a bit distracted, frequently looking out the window. She put down her teacup. If that's the case, I'll excuse myself now. Marie Curie always disliked prolonging work outside the company. Nothing was faster than settling things in the conference room. She arrived the latest and left the earliest. No one dared to have an opinion. When leaving, the woman's footsteps were slightly hurried. Praise echoed in the private room. CEO Curie taking time out of her busy schedule to attend is already giving us face. I felt bored sitting in the car, so I got out to get some air. Unexpectedly, I ran into an acquaintance. Alan Turing? Yao Qian arrived with her boyfriend. She was the class monitor I called an idiot. Didn't you say you weren't coming? I realized. So their venue is also here. I didn't intend to chat, saying coldly, I'm working. Driving your boss around isn't working? Yao Chen's attention was focused on the car behind me, a brand new Aston Martin. It was one of the cars in Marie Curie's garage. She changed her car once a week. The woman's eyes were full of suspicion. Was what you said during the day true? My face didn't flush, and my heart didn't pound. Of course, it was true. This is just the cheapest one. I gave it to the mistress I'm supporting 2 days ago. Yao Qian and her boyfriend looked at each other, both finding it unbelievable, and Lionel. Why do I feel like you're lying? How could you possibly drive such a nice car? She was right, I really couldn't drive it, but I could pretend, couldn't I? Just as I was about to retort, I saw Marie Curie coming out. Oh my gosh, why is she coming out so fast? What should I do? What should I do? I've lost my composure a bit. The woman, with a composed expression, picked up her coat and tossed her hair. CEO Merton, may I give you a ride home? I was stunned. What did she call me? Yao Qian and her boyfriend turned around. One was disdainful, and the other's eyes were full of astonishment. Is this your mistress? What a vixen. Men only like this type. I hastily said, she's not. Yes, I am his mistress. Marie Curie cut me off, then walked over and grabbed my hand, her face innocent. Honey, I'm sorry to keep you waiting. Marie Curie's hand is so soft. I couldn't help but squeeze it gently. Her hand was gripped tighter. She cooperated so well. I want to be like Secretary Lionel, and still support her as the chairman of the board for the next term. Yao Qian sneered. A man has to use his own things. What can you achieve in your entire life? You vixen, you're only valuable for a few years. I glared at her. Even if I gave you a few more years, you couldn't reach her level. She still dares to talk back. Marie Curie mused. It's nothing, being liked by him is my honor. Oh, sister, I'm only 18 this year. You better keep trying. Yao Qian turned pale with anger. Her boyfriend snorted, threw off her hand, and walked away. Marie Curie opened the back door for me. Thank you, boss. I leaned close to the woman. Aren't you getting in? I calmly got into the car. Marie Curie sat in the driver's seat and stepped on the accelerator. It happened to be raining today. There was a puddle under the tires. Water splashed all over Yao Qian. She looked both miserable and comical. Marie Curie tossed out a few red bills, sorry, and sped off. Marie Curie dropped me off downstairs. I thanked her several more times. It's nothing, I just need an explanation. The woman tilted her head slightly. What was with the mistress talk? I knew I couldn't avoid this. I lowered my head and softly explained the whole story. After a long time, there was still no movement in the car. I looked up, only to see the woman seemed to have waited a long time before asking. She hurriedly turned her face away, her voice sounding slightly unnatural. Oh, if something like that happens again, you can tell me sooner. I'm your boss. What mistress? What mistress? It sounds terrible. I don't want to be your mistress. Her voice grew softer and softer. But I understood. I'm sorry, I promise I won't cause you trouble next time. From now on, I'll say I have a wealthy wife I married many years ago, who is away all year, but whose monthly allowance is casually 7 figures. I couldn't help but voice my inner thoughts. This truly is the dream, but when it actually came true, I didn't dare to nod. Who knew Marie Curie would suddenly laugh coldly? Only a few million? How stingy. Anyway, if I ever get married, all the money will go to my wife. I absolutely won't keep a single penny for myself. Getting married is not impossible. Only incompetent men would do that. I can do it. What kind of competition was suddenly happening? I didn't understand. I asked the question I had held in my heart for so long. CEO Curie, do you like me? A look of internal struggle flashed across Marie Curie's face. After seeming to hesitate for a long time, she shook her head vigorously, gritting her teeth and saying, No, I don't. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it for 1,000 reasons. I really don't like you. I only see you as an old friend. Don't think nonsense, and don't quit your job. I understand. I also see you as a friend, a beautiful and rich friend. It's honorable to mention it. Although there was a slight ripple in my heart, since she said so, I had to know my place. I couldn't be shameless. I shouldn't have said anything. As soon as I finished speaking, the woman's face immediately fell. She seemed unhappy again. In the middle of the night, Marie Curie's moments updated again. My heart is shattered. I'm shedding tears. I'm the sad rose at midnight. I thought she still couldn't forget her ex-boyfriend and wanted to advise her to look forward. But I was afraid of bothering her. I turned over, scrolled my finger down, and pretended not to see it. Half an hour later, she updated with a simple line. I miss you very much. But there's nothing to talk about between us. But if you press 1, then I have something to say. I ignored it again. Another half hour later, Marie Curie simply directly posted 3 mirror selfies of herself doing yoga. Oh my, I immediately sat up, zooming in on each photo. So white, so rosy, so smooth. I clicked like to show support for the boss. I hoped she would keep it up. The woman replied immediately. Do I have to post revealing pictures for you to speak up? You pervert. Marie Curie was away on a business trip, with no confirmed return date. Working was truly free. I wanted to live like this forever. My mother called for the 3rd time. If you go on a blind date, the family will give you an extra $1 million. That's right, I actually have another secret identity. The son of a billionaire. What I said about winning the lottery was true, but the protagonist was my father. Over the years, he earned a lot of money through his intelligence. My mother, to prevent me from having bad concepts about mad dog revenge, stipulated that I had to be self-reliant after graduating from university. She said that, but as long as I called and cried a little about poverty and helplessness, she would immediately transfer $1 million. I calculated that I could put down the deposit for another house. I agreed. I asked the boss for leave. Marie Curie must be in a meeting right now. I didn't expect her to reply immediately. Just as I thought that, the opposite party sent a message. Taking leave for what? How many days? My mother said there were 3 blind dates. Then 1 person each day. Say 3 days, otherwise, it won't be enough. Marie Curie. Okay. Just as I was about to put down my phone, a message arrived. As a friend, may I venture to ask why you are taking 3 days off? I'm going on blind dates. I joked. When I truly succeed, I'll invite you to witness the marriage. Marie Curie is so generous, the wedding gift will surely be substantial. I started looking forward to it again. Before I could even smile, Marie Curie messaged, 1 day is enough. No, half a day. Don't overthink it, it's just because the company is quite busy. I silently looked up, observing the pile of snacks and milk tea spread across my desk. Busy? Half a day it is. I chose the afternoon, arranging the meeting at a coffee shop not far from the company in Seattle. It was a shop owned by my family. The date was an overseas student who had returned home, from a scholarly family background. Honestly, I felt unworthy. She was highly cultured, her appearance, family background, and etiquette were impeccable. I thought, if we really were together, it would probably be difficult to harmonize. Dr. Sen was very busy, she took time out of her tight schedule for this. Mr. Allen, are you satisfied with me? I have no objections to marriage, it's mainly just to deal with the elders. It's very difficult for me to return home more than a few times a year. It will be a sacrifice in terms of affection for the man. But not financially. Every month, I will give no less than 7 figures in spending money. Why does she need so much money? Although my family is so rich. When a genuine offer came, I didn't dare to nod. While holding my coffee and lamenting, a familiar voice came from behind. Alan Turing. I turned my head. Marie Curie, why did you return so quickly? She looked like she had run here, the skirt at her feet was askew. And she was panting. Beautiful women are indeed different. Just standing there leaning against the wall, catching her breath, attracted the eyes of everyone in the shop. Mr. Allen, he is. Dr. Sen raised an eyebrow and asked. I looked at Marie Curie walking toward us and replied. He is my boss. The woman smiled. Perhaps more than just a boss. If you are busy, I will take my leave first. See you another time. This was an indirect way of saying the blind date was a failure. I said goodbye. The 2 women passed each other, glancing at one another once. Then averted their eyes as if nothing happened. CEO Curie, why are you here? Didn't you say at least a week? Marie Curie stood on her toes, trying to meet my eye level. Her gaze was serious. I was afraid that if I came late, you would fall for someone else. What, is it what I think? Alan Turing, I like you very, very much. Can you not like anyone else? I suspected I misheard. Didn't you just say you didn't like me? You said it very sternly. Marie Curie's face suddenly showed a look of grievance, because you said you hated colleagues at the company. If any leader confessed to you, you would quit your job. You said you absolutely would not fall in love with someone from the same company. Even if you died. So, she was referring to that time in the elevator. This time, I felt sheepish. I rubbed my nose. Sometimes things happen unintentionally, right? There's no other way. Marie Curie is too charming. I'm just a mortal. How can I resist this attraction? If you like me, why don't you pursue me? Marie Curie lowered her eyelids. I was afraid you'd scold me for harassment. I was still considering Marie Curie's confession. There was no rush, the person was right in front of me. After all, during this time, I still fulfilled my duties as an employee. In contrast, CEO Curie was a bit impatient. She posted photos of herself doing yoga on her moments every day. There was even one time when my phone ran out of battery. And I borrowed her phone to check some documents. The search history was full of how to seduce a man, how to attract a man's attention. I don't want to be his boss. Can I be his wife? That day, when I drove her home, she insisted on getting into the passenger seat. Let's talk. I said, okay. My eyes aimed straight at a certain position on a certain person. You must have been working out again recently. Marie Curie crossed her arms. I'll actually get angry. Can you stop keeping me guessing? If you don't like me, just say so. I'm not the kind of person who clings to someone. I thought for a moment, my expression cautious and serious. All right, I don't like you. Marie Curie stood still for a few seconds, unconvinced. I don't believe you, you answered without any hesitation. You're lying to me. I'm giving you a chance to reconsider. I suppressed a smile. Marie Curie gently pulled my hand. The woman obediently leaned in. Be my girlfriend. The corners of the woman's mouth curved up as she looked up at me. Before long, the car windows were fogged up. In a moment of lost control, I bit Marie Curie's lip. She cried out in pain, begging for mercy. My love, be gentle. I was afraid she would break right here, so I didn't dare to truly go further. I mentioned the company group chat saying she wouldn't live past 25. Marie Curie turned her face away, her voice extremely soft. Didn't I tell them to only say I had poor health? Why did they spread such a terrifying rumor? I didn't hear clearly. What? The woman immediately shook her head. Nothing. Keep going. Marie Curie's side story. On the first day of her return to New York City, Marie Curie came alone, very discreetly, notifying no one. She was sent by her father to manage this subsidiary of the Radia Perlman Group. She intended to buy a cup of coffee to sober up. Passing by the glass window of a KFC outlet, she glanced casually and froze. Alan Turing. The person she had written about repeatedly in her diary years ago. It's just that his expression looked like he was filming a video. One moment his mouth was twisted and his eyes were crooked. The next he was baring his teeth and glaring. Those who stopped to watch were not only Marie Curie. Passers-by happily took out their phones, preparing to record. At first, they didn't dare to laugh, thinking he might be a special person. This young man is so amusing. A hand covered his lens. Marie Curie politely said, "Excuse me, this is my friend, please don't film." The passers-by left apologetically. That day, Alan Turing played the abstract game all day. Marie Curie found a corner to sit and watched him all day. She thought, how wonderful. Because the person she longed for day and night was here.